No one expected it. After nearly 8 years of staying out of the spotlight, Chris Martin and Dakota Johnson's quiet love story just collapsed, and the silence surrounding their breakup is louder than any public statement could ever be. No Instagram posts, no joint press release, just the quiet unraveling of a relationship that once seemed unshakable. But behind this calm exterior, fans are left wondering, what really happened? Was it just two busy stars growing apart? Or is there a deeper reason neither of them will speak about? From secret engagement rumors to carefully crafted PR denials, everything about this breakup feels calculated. And when you piece together the signs, the cracks were showing long before anyone admitted it. It all began in 2017. A subtle glance, a shared night backstage, and suddenly rumors were swirling. Dakota Johnson, the mysterious star of 50 Shades, and Chris Martin, the soulful frontman of Coldplay, were spotted together at his concert. At first, it was just speculation. But when they were seen holding hands at Stella McCartney's Hollywood fashion show the following year, it was official. Fans were fascinated. Two huge stars who somehow managed to keep their love life hidden in plain sight. Dakota's mother, Melanie Griffith, once gave a rare glimpse into their relationship, saying she adored Chris. But she made one thing clear: Dakota was extremely private. She guarded that relationship with everything she had. No flashy posts, no red carpet appearances, just the quiet confidence of a couple who didn't need to prove anything. Or so it seemed. They claimed to enjoy the stillness, the comfort of being home together, away from the chaos. In a rare interview, Dakota once said, "We both work so much that it's nice to be at home and be cozy and private." But that same privacy may have become the very wall that blocked out the truth. By summer 2023, the cracks were no longer whispers. They were becoming loud enough to hear. Online forums lit up with rumors that Chris and Dakota had quietly split. For a couple so guarded, any hint of trouble was explosive. Fans pointed to Chris attending events solo. Dakota hadn't been seen near a Coldplay concert in months. Her usual subtle presence, gone. News rushed to put out the fire. A rep insisted the rumors were not true, claiming they are happily together. But even that statement felt hollow. There was no denial from the couple themselves, no Instagram stories, no pap shots to counter the claims. Silence, the kind that feels loud when people are watching. Behind the scenes, friends say Dakota had become exhausted. Chris was constantly touring. Their once cozy routine had vanished. Time zones, tour buses, and studio deadlines pulled them in different directions. Even their moments of stillness had started to feel like distance. And then, as fall approached, the silence deepened. No more public sightings, no red carpet moments, no denials, just a growing tension in the background, like everyone was waiting for confirmation. For months, fans clung to one lingering sign of hope: the ring. Dakota had been seen wearing a delicate engagement ring that many believed Chris gave her back in 2020. The two never confirmed an engagement, but industry insiders whispered it had happened quietly, away from flashing cameras and screaming headlines. That ring became a symbol, a sliver of stability in a world that thrives on unraveling privacy. But then it vanished. Photos began surfacing of Dakota without the ring. Paparazzi shots captured her hands bare. Tabloids dissected every outing. Was it just a styling choice? Or was it a signal? Close sources say Dakota never wanted the engagement to define her. She valued independence, her career, and keeping the spotlight off her private life. But those around her noticed a shift. Her smile in interviews became more practiced. The warmth she once showed when talking about Chris turned distant. And Chris? He was still on the road, diving deeper into Coldplay's tour and musical projects, as if staying busy could keep the truth from surfacing. But insiders hinted he felt it too. The emotional distance, the unspoken understanding that something sacred between them had quietly unraveled. What was once seen as a low-profile, deeply bonded couple now looked like two people drifting, slowly, silently, until they were standing on opposite shores. From the outside, it seemed like Dakota and Chris had mastered the impossible, keeping their relationship grounded despite the madness of fame. But behind closed doors, there were quiet tensions, subtle clashes, and some of them came from the people closest to them. Dakota's mother, Melanie Griffith, had once spoken fondly of Chris. She called him adorable and praised their love. But even she admitted Dakota was intensely private, someone who didn't share much, even with family. That emotional wall had always been there, and as the relationship got more serious, some began to wonder if that wall wasn't just protecting Dakota, but isolating her too. Meanwhile, Chris's world was filled with expectations, not just from fans or music execs, but from his past. His highly publicized marriage to Gwyneth Paltrow had ended amicably, but it left a shadow. The conscious uncoupling, the kids, the co-parenting, everything was already under a microscope. And being with Dakota meant navigating a different kind of fame, one with its own Hollywood baggage. Rumors started bubbling up again in summer 2023. Paparazzi photos became rare. Their once frequent sightings turned to silence. And when they did show up together, body language experts online pointed to a new coldness. Fewer smiles, less eye contact, forced warmth. They were still together, but something had shifted, and those closest to them knew it wouldn't be long before that shift became a full fracture. By the time the breakup was confirmed, the truth had been hiding in plain sight for months. The public just hadn't noticed it, or maybe they didn't want to. Chris and Dakota had become experts at smiling through the tension, but the silence eventually spoke louder than any red carpet moment ever could. Multiple outlets began reporting that the couple had gone their separate ways after nearly 8 years together. What was once one of the most stable, low-key Hollywood relationships had quietly unraveled. No dramatic Instagram posts, no joint statements, just distance, emotionally and physically. According to insiders, the split wasn't messy, but it was painful. Chris had retreated into music, Dakota had buried herself in new film projects, and despite years of shared history, mutual friends said it felt like they were already living separate lives long before the news became public. Even their teams weren't aligned. When breakup rumors first surfaced in 2023, reps had quickly denied it, insisting the couple was still happily together. But behind the scenes, both were already bracing for the end. The hardest part? There was no one incident, no public blow-up, just two people who grew apart in a world that rarely allows love to breathe. And yet, the story didn't end with heartbreak alone. In the aftermath of the split, speculation began swirling almost immediately. Who would move on first? And more importantly, with whom? It didn't take long before the whispers started pointing toward Chris. Rumors surfaced that he was seen spending more time with a familiar face from his past, a longtime friend and collaborator. Some fans even pointed to subtle social media activity as a clue. No hard proof, but enough breadcrumbs to get the internet buzzing. Meanwhile, Dakota seemed to be making a statement of her own, not with words, but with ink. The actress was spotted with a brand new tattoo shortly after the news broke. Strategically placed and cryptic in design, fans couldn't help but interpret it as a quiet nod to reclaiming her independence. Then came the interviews. Dakota, usually known for her tight-lipped approach, gave a brief but loaded comment during a press event. She spoke about letting go of comfort to make room for growth. It wasn't a confirmation of anything, but the timing spoke volumes. Friends close to the pair insist there's no bad blood. But if you read between the lines, the shifting priorities, the symbolic choices, the subtle digs, it's clear this wasn't just a mutual parting. It was a quiet declaration of autonomy from both ends. But there was still one question no one wanted to ask out loud. For months, both Chris Martin and Dakota Johnson stayed eerily quiet. No dramatic Instagram posts, no teary interviews, no carefully worded statements from reps, just silence. And in Hollywood, silence always speaks louder than a press release. Industry insiders began speculating that this wasn't just about personal heartbreak, it was strategic. According to one anonymous source close to the situation, there was concern that too much noise around the breakup could interfere with upcoming projects on both ends. Chris is reportedly finalizing new Coldplay material, and Dakota is set to headline a major streaming series. A messy split narrative? That wasn't in the plan. But behind closed doors, it was anything but calm. One tabloid reported that the couple's inner circle had been divided for months. Some of Chris's friends allegedly felt Dakota was too controlling. Others close to Dakota believed Chris had emotionally checked out long before the final call. The tension wasn't explosive, it was gradual, slow, and, as one insider put it, absolutely irreversible. Still, fans wanted answers. Why would a couple that seemed so solid, so private, so in sync, unravel without warning? And then came one theory that no one saw coming. Whispers began circulating that this breakup wasn't just a matter of two people growing apart. It was something deeper, something planned. A theory started gaining traction that Chris and Dakota's relationship may have been more about protection than passion. According to online sleuths and anonymous sources from inside the music industry, Chris's high-profile relationship with Dakota helped shield him from intrusive speculation during a delicate chapter of his personal and professional life. One source even claimed, Dakota kept things quiet. She gave him stability, but it wasn't always romantic. It was strategic. Meanwhile, some pointed to Dakota's recent moves in Hollywood, carefully curated roles, sudden surges in press appearances, and a more polished public image, as signs that she, too, may have benefited from the pairing. For years, the two protected each other. But now, with new career heights on the horizon, they no longer needed the illusion. It's a dark twist, imagining one of Hollywood's most low-key couples as nothing more than a carefully managed partnership. But in an industry where everything is PR, nothing is off the table. And as fans sift through the interviews, sightings, and subtle clues left behind, one question remains: did they ever really love each other? Or were we all just watching a beautifully constructed performance? In the days following the announcement, neither Chris nor Dakota has made a public statement. No social media posts, no paparazzi strolls, just silence. But maybe that's the most telling part of all. This wasn't a messy, chaotic split played out for the cameras. It was quiet, controlled, and hauntingly polished, as if it had been rehearsed long before the curtain actually dropped. Dakota's been spotted walking alone in LA, her face hidden beneath sunglasses, her signature poise intact. Chris, on the other hand, remains overseas, immersed in his music, far from the swirl of Hollywood gossip. And yet, fans can't stop dissecting every lyric, every past interview, every old clip, desperate to decode what was real and what was crafted. Because behind every glamorous romance in the spotlight, there's often a script the public never sees. One where heartbreak isn't just personal, it's strategic. And while the world waits to see who speaks first, one thing's clear. We may never know the full truth, but we felt the fracture, and sometimes that's enough.